with, if you want to do that.
Stand.
Good day, Heavenly Father. Just thank you for this opportunity. And Father, we just ask that you just be with us today and just guide our thoughts. And Father, for the betterment of our county. And Father, we just ask that you just be with our loved ones who are sick and ill. Just reach out that loving and touching hand throughout our county. And Father, we just ask that you just continue just to be with us and just watch over us. And Father, most of all, we just ask in all this in your precious holy name. In Jesus Christ we pray. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Do we have any comments on the agenda at this time?
I think we need to add an amendment to the resolution to establish a travel and tourism authority under new business. It'd be amendment number 2.
Make a motion to accept.
Second.
All in favor? Approval of the meeting, the minutes for November 17th.
So moved.
December 1st.
So moved. Sorry.
Have a second.
I guess Lynn needs to second these because our new board members was not here for the regular and workshop of November 17th.
Second.
If he would, excuse me, don't mean to, yeah.
I say.
Sorry, I asked you. From now on,
I wonder if anybody's ever done that.
Oh, don't mean to be presumptuous there. Thank you for that.
I think you're ready.
Good evening. I've got the financial report updated through today. You'll see there's a spreadsheet here that says financial highlights through 12, 15, and 14. If you'll notice on page 1, our general fund checking account closed the month of November with a balance of $5,657,232. That is a drop, but if you'll recall, toward the end of November, we wrote the checks for the transfer station and sheriff's department. But I'm happy to report it did not drop as far as I thought it would, so I'm pleased with that. We are, just as an aside, working on financing the transfer station back with USDA. I've sent all the information to Pam Hysong last week to get that loan closed. And then we'll need to have some more discussion about the sheriff's department before I request the board to do an RFP for financing on it, because there may be some repairs or things you may want to finance with that, so there'll probably be some more discussion about that in January. You will note that we are still ahead. This time last year we were at 5.2 million, and we're up from several years back. We've more than doubled our cash balance, our cash position. And this is only the general fund checking account. You'll notice if you got your finance notebook at the organizational meeting, we have several of them restricted accounts, and this is our unrestricted cash balance. If you want to flip to page 3, you'll notice highlighted in yellow, we have our tax collections, and for November, our collections, real property tax collections for our current taxes for real property were $692,759. Prior year's collections were $14,477 for a total of $707,236. That's a little bit higher than this time last year. Our DMV dipped just a little bit to $24,483, which about 23,000 of that was then under the new VTS system. We're still getting the old DMVs in as well. The tax collection office is continuing to work those accounts as well as the current, and we are still working on NREM foreclosures. If you'll look at the page 4, which is highlighted, our total year-to-date collections for real property are at $3,319,000 and some change. Our DMV's at $162,400. We are tracking a little bit behind this time last year in real tax collections. We're about $18,000 lower than this time last year. However, if you look at our tax collection percentage, it's a little higher, 58.35. And you'll notice below that, the reason for that is our levy dropped from 5.5 million last year to a little shy of 5.5 at 5.478 million. So that creates a difference in our collection rate. Part of the reason our levy dropped last year is we lost some tax base due to conservation easements. So that tells the story there. Our taxes receivable through the end of November, for current year taxes are at $2.276 million. And we still need to go after about $146,000 in the 13 taxes, and then we're working on the 05 through 12 at $130,000, and we have made quite a bit of progress since this time last year on those older balances. Any questions so far? Okay, if you'll flip to page 6, our revenues at the very top of the page, highlighted in yellow, for the month of November were $1,356,500. Our expenditures including, which include the little over $1 million, I think it was $1,037,000 that I wrote checks for those two properties, are $2.143 million. We had a deficit of $787,000. Hopeful that that will be turned around with this back financing. I do want to make this note, this footnote, because this looks really scary, and it can look really scary to the taxpayers. It does sound scary that we paid $1 million for property. However, in the transfer station, we had already sunk $1.1 million in improvements in that property. That note was just paid off in September. And had we had to have, or had we chosen, had the county chosen to move off that site, which that lease was getting ready to go to accelerate, it would have been probably another $3 to $4 million in investment on Bear Creek to create a new transfer station. So in essence, by spending $1 million, the Board of Commissioners saved the county taxpayers about $4 to $5 million. So I didn't want to make that point.
Also, the rent for this big places is going to pretty much cover the price.
Yes, I'm glad you mentioned that. If we, it appears that when we do the USDA financing, we'll get a very acceptable rate, and the payment will equal what we're won't even equal what we're paying in rent. So to me, rent is a sunk cost, and at least with a note payment on building equity.
So it won't be a new payment, really.
No.
It's one that we're accustomed to paying.
Exactly.
And the ownership will be with the county.
Exactly, because we were paying, I think, right at $1,600 in rent for the transfer station, which they had accelerated last year, and then we were paying $1,200 in rent for the sheriff's department, and generally for the utilities in that building and the phone, it was another $1,200 to $1,500 a month. And it's hoped that if we do any renovations on that building, that we'll be able to get it more energy cost wise, and be able to reduce that payment out as well. So we're trying to leverage our money better by owning those two sites. On page 7, you'll notice our sales tax reversion, and on the surface that looks a little scary, but I've got a little side note there. Our sales tax that we received on November the 15th, today, December the 15th, that would be for October, we received $92,815. You'll notice that dropped from this time last year, and it dropped from this time last month. However, and this to me is not fair, but we also received this month 2 payments from the North Carolina Department of Revenue. One, which they they dinged us for is the sales tax refund for last year of $48,619, which came straight off of what our reversion is. So the government, the state giveth and then they taketh away. And then we also received about another $75,000 in sales tax refund. So we got about $130,000 in sales tax refund. But they get us on the tail end, so I don't think they're very nice people. But they don't ask my opinion about that. Any questions on that?
Have you heard anything from the state about them talking about consolidating the sales taxes and then digging it out? They had something on use back there.
I haven't heard anything direct about it, but I'm just wondering if they're kind of revisiting an old decision they made during Lynn's last tenure, is do we do it per capita? Or do we do it based on sales? And of course, the way they're calculating the dollars is to their advantage. So I haven't got anything direct on that yet, but I'm kind of watching. But we're still at a $41,851 variance just in sales tax reversion, positive from this time last year, which is good. That tells us the economy's beginning to heat up a little bit better. Any questions on that part? I have your budget report by department, and I do want to mention that we can provide these, and I think I did this with the organizational meeting, by department, by line item, if you want to. Just come by my office if you want. This is the Reader's Digest condensed version, the safe paper. We should have 54% left in our budget at this time. This is based on today's date, and we've pretty well got everything posted up to date. If you'll look on the last page, you'll notice we're at 58% countywide, which means that we're staying within budget. Some of the departments are showing that they're running a little bit ahead, but the biggest reason, and I haven't highlighted any specific department, I do if I know that there's something we really need to worry about and discuss. The ones that are below that, each department that I've looked at is where either we've paid a big debt payment, which skews everything out for a while, or like in the instance of my department, the finance department, I just wrote a big check for about $48,000 for the audit. And so that skews me out. So I did not note, I looked at all the detail on all the budgets, and I did not note really any specific budget that is totally out of line. If there is one budget, the court's budget, that looks really bad out of line, however, that budget's based on the facility fees that we get in, and so it's basically up to the clerk of court if there's any specific projects she wants to spend her budget down for, but there's always revenues coming back in. So at the end of the year, based on whatever revenues we get in, she never spends more than she's got. So usually at the end of the year, I just clean that budget up. Any questions on that? I do have two budget amendments. The first budget amendment is budget amendment number 9, and this is just to recognize the expenditure that the board, I think in November, approved to purchase the Office 365 for the county computer systems. And that was just to shift the money, the $21,600 from contingency into the capital outlay for the computer support, to support that expenditure that the board approved. The second budget amendment recognizes a transfer of staffing. If you'll notice, if you'll remember back in, I think, late September, early October, staff from the tax collector's department was shifted into the finance department, and this budget amendment is just to recognize the move of her salary and benefits into finance out of the tax collection budget. And I have a couple more items.
We need to make a motion on these.
Yeah, however you guys want to do that.
These amendments.
The board needs to.
We have a motion to accept these amendments.
I'll make the motion on accepting budget amendment number 9, and also number
Second.
10.
All in favor?
Then a couple more quick items, hopefully quick items. The health department received some additional funding from the state for their immunization action plan, is about $3,000. And as the state likes to do, they give you a real short period of time, and they say you either take it and spend it, or you lose it between now and December 31st. And so the health department has requested to be able to spend that money down on some technology items. There's, they put in or asking to put in a tablet at a cost of about $1,000. And then also to purchase some computer equipment to use for educational purposes in the school system, and then outside the school system for another couple $1,000. I just need board approval to sign off on those expenditures using grant money. 100% grant.
That is grant money.
It is.
And it will be
100%
spent
state
at the
money.
school program? Is that right, part of
School
it?
and in the health department.
So the health department, a notebook,
Mhm.
and the school, some training,
Yes.
equipment.
Especially for the students, STDs and
Okay,
different
all right.
contagious diseases.
I'll make a motion that we approve that.
All in favor?
Ricky, you didn't want to come out and this
Well, you can feel my face getting red
I can see
right now. I'm an old-fashioned girl. I did want to report that all 3 audits that the county oversees are complete. They would be the Rural Development Authority, the Travel and Tourism Authority, and the county audits. We got unmodified opinions on all 3 audits. They have all been approved by the Local Government Commission, so in the event we do decide to go and get the debt financing on the Sheriff's Department, I've already talked to them to see we're good to go from that perspective. And then this is just a little cleanup issue that RDA appointed me, or requested to appoint me as their full-fledged finance officer. I'm basically doing it anyway. They want that to be official. I'll need the board to approve me as their finance officer, as well as the finance officer for the county and the TDA.
Is that something you want us to project on?
No,
I don't think I have any
No.
choice.
no.
I'll make
There's very little.
I'm going to
involved.
second it.
It is kind of a shame because the RDA has to have an audit, and it costs the RDA about $4,200 a year, and I think we had 3 transactions in the RDA last
Yeah,
year.
I think we're good. As long as Becky doesn't tell me we have to pay more for each other.
Yeah. And then we do have all new signature cards for the Board of Commissioners to sign off on. I have them here tonight, but if you, and you're welcome to sign them tonight. If not, if you can come by the office in the next few days and sign off on them, they're ready. Okay. Thank you. Any questions? And if you will, make sure on each signature card you flip to make sure that you've signed everywhere your name appears, okay?
Jamie Wilson?
I'm Jamie Wilson. I grew up in Andrews, and I live in Andrews again now. I worked 23 and a half years for North Carolina Department of Transportation. And in 2009, I stood in this room as we held a quarter day public hearing as the division construction engineer responsible for the delivery of the all TIB projects in Division 14. And I was as misled as I feel everyone in the Graham County, Cherokee County, and Division 14 this plays out is determined. I was fortunate enough through Mr. C.B. McKinnon, one of my commissioners in Cherokee County, to meet Mr. Cable a couple of weeks ago informally, and this is an informal introduction of myself. I'm still a professional engineer. I was dismissed by DOT in July of 2010 because I refused to, once I realized what was happening, I refused to accommodate the political issues and the agendas. That's the money that's transferred. DOT has placed it on their website now. It's Mr. Gable saw it this afternoon. They have placed a statement on the, and I'm going to leave this with you. It says exemption of ADA-H funds, the Appalachian Highway System funds. Basically what it says is that during the equity formula for the last 27 years, the $30 to $35 million a year that came to North Carolina specifically for quarter K, quarter A completion was given and spread across the state. We got about 4.2% of it. There was no money here in 2009. There was no way we could have built the project. All the money was spent. There's not 300 or 400, 500, $600 million in a closet somewhere in Raleigh. It was loaned out under what they call infrastructure banking. And these are, I've spent 4.5 years for this opportunity. By the way, I cashed my first retirement check 2 weeks ago, so I'm a citizen. So I'm going to, I just want, I've read in your minutes some of the citizens that have come before you that are concerned about the property, concerned about, 4-lane, 2-lane. That's not what I'm here, to advocate one or the other. I've seen the confusion in the county commissioner's notes of all the counties. Understand it was confusing. There was no money. They used this money that was appropriated in 1965 specifically for us in betterment of our lifestyle through both transportation, social, economic. It was a complete package. You'll see the feds just threatened the small business loans in Jackson County through the southwestern region. If they didn't issue more of them, they were going to pull the funds back. Those funds were supposed to work with us with our transportation funds. Like I said, this was a package that was all inclusive. Being from Andrews, we're at the end of the road. Like I said, Grant County, quarter K. One thing, US 74 is not the designation for the Appalachian Highway. Tennessee's moving ahead with theirs at US 60. And there was a saying when I first came to work at DOT in the late 80s that the best governor of Western North Carolina ever had was Sale Miller. And he's from Georgia. And actually was. They finished all their, in 1996, they moved ahead and did 167 miles of Appalachian Highway since then. We've done, 2001, 2002, we finished that term to go. So I'll leave this, like I said, I recognize Mr. Gale as your county manager. I won't be, if you have any questions, please try to get up with me. I'll bring back anything formally. Like I said, I'm sure this is kind of a shock to some people that speak to them. They don't really believe this, but as the state stands right now, voted up today, $190 million behind in the hole. $190 million the state's. This state has basically driven itself in, financially. We're in trouble. But the Appalachian funds are ours. And my intention is to just to go back and be accountable for them as I should have been in 2009. I took for granted that these laws and this federal regulations that established this and the older generation that I was fortunate enough to experience, that these were protected funds. And I believe they are. And I believe the state of North Carolina manipulated them. I believe they have discriminated against us, and I intend to pursue that to the full extent of discovery. It's not my place to say, whatever Grant County decides they need will be, Grant County and Cherokee County's decision. I want to go back and do my job. And I'm embarrassed, and I want to apologize to the citizens of Grant County for standing here and giving false statement and false witness and representing a project that could have never been delivered. Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Jay, thank you.
Thank you, Jim.
Doug? You ready?
My name is Doug Mortimer, and I'm the owner of River's Edge Treehouse Resort. We're a new lodging place here in town, we're on 129. I'm not here to complain about anything, so just the opposite, actually. My wife Layla and I want to publicly acknowledge and thank the Graham County Economic Development Director, Andy Cable. He helped us, we wouldn't be in business without Andy Cable. And I just want to put that out there. We got open in July and been packed ever since. Everybody loves the concept, and we're actually bringing in people who would not have stayed in Wellnessville, but they wanted, they like the whole treatment concept. So I think we're really helping the county. Andy helped us from the beginning with our concept, our business plan, most importantly with our financing. He got us the financing. He found people. It was 2 years ago, nobody was looking at money. And it's still pretty tight now. Andy's great to work with, and is an asset to Graham County. And so we wanted to publicly say that. And again, we wouldn't be open if it wasn't for him.
Layla, would you introduce your mother to this board, your family?
My mother was Marie Lale, and my father was J.B. Hill, so my roots are in this area
Right,
a long time.
right. Okay, I wasn't sure everybody knew that. All right, we're glad to have you.
Thank you.
I've got some of our back cards, if you want to see what we're doing. And I appreciate your time. Thank you.
Thanks, y'all.
All right. First in your packet there, you will find a resolution. At the first meeting, we discussed a potential to move the meeting times around to better accommodate some of our new members with their work schedules. And I would just need a motion to approve the change. And
I'll make that motion.
As long as
Change
everyone-
the times.
The change the time to be limited up to 5
5.
o'clock. And work session will be an overtime vote, correct?
yes,
So moved.
Have a second.
You said.
All in favor?
Okay. We want to keep our working folks. For sure.
This will go in the paper, and of course, I will, this will begin on January the 19th.
January the 19th. Okay.
I'll post this on the county courthouse doors, our doors, and the doors down here. And after y'all, and I've got it over here for you to sign tonight. And you're getting that on the table.
5:30.
That gives it a 30-minute workshop session instead of the hour.
And if we see that doesn't work, then of course we can make adjustments, okay?
next, I need the board to nominate and vote on a voting delegate from Graham County for the NCACC 2015 convention in Pinehurst in January.
If I may, Connie has been representing our board at the NCACC. She's actually sits on the board of directors, so
That would be my recommendation.
I make a motion to keep going. Second.
thank you.
Releases and discoveries, we have total releases in the amount of $386.59. Discoveries in the amount of $221.35.
Motion to accept this.
I make a motion, we accept them.
Is there a second?
Second.
Second.
Thank you.
All in favor?
And next we have the, do you have the bids?
They're in the blue envelope by Keith's.
One thing, with the bid opening, Chairman, I would request that we set the bid award to be made at the completion of the roof over top of this section. We can announce who the low bidder is, but that will, because in the paper, we made a stipulation that after the bid award, that the work be completed in 30 days.
In 30 days from the day they get done with the roof.
Yes, we need to do the bid award.
If they ever get done with the roof.
Yes, but they have been delayed on getting this roof done. We thought it would be done.
Be interesting.
Yes. So I need to get crafty with that language and say, we can do the award after this roof is finished, because I don't want to hang a new drywall.
Just this section.
Just this section, yeah, because this work is going to be done in here, and I want the new roof on.
Robbinsville Custom Molding, $41,250.
Custom molding, you say?
Robbinsville Custom Molding.
Okay.
This is from Betterville General Contractor. It is $35,961.
35,960.
61.
Okay. So we can accept the bid accept the lowest bid, and the bid award we made after the shingles are on this section, if that's what it's.
We need to vote on do I have a motion for the lowest bidder or the highest bidder? Betterville was low,
Who is that?
35,961.
That's the general contractor, Jeremy Lunsford.
Jeremy.
He's built some CDBG houses for us in the past. We've never had any issues out of that contractor, or either of these contractors.
Custom molding was 41,250.
Those ways didn't include the electronic.
No, that's going to be handled separate. There was none of the contractors could find a reasonable alternative to, all their estimates were that high to do it. We were actually able to find a contractor cheaper than they were on our own. So,
The scope of the bid should be in that blue envelope, Jacob. I think it should be.
we originally put it out there, Jacob, to include the electronics, but the numbers that the contractors were coming back with all of their suppliers were coming back saying, my gosh, you're talking $40,000 just for the electronic aspect. We were saying, no, that's not what we're talking about. So we pulled that aspect out of the bid.
The
And
county itself found a different, cheaper contract.
yes, we found a cheaper contract to do that on and on.
Conjunction one.
That's exactly right.
Bidder does no work.
Yes. I'm sorry,
Are
what?
we gonna have, are we even gonna bring that on the table, or is electronics just a no-go?
My understanding is the electronics was part of the original scope of the project,
Okay.
and it's something that we can do on our own. It's something that's needed.
While they're doing the construction?
Yes,
Or-
yes, it's something that's very much needed in here to be
Right.
used.
So is that gonna be done by county employees?
No, it would be done by a company that does that, but we could have them do it cheaper than these general contractors were able to find any of their suppliers to do it. I don't know if they just
I
did.
guess my question is, are they gonna have to work together
Yes,
while it's a?
they will.
Okay, it's nothing that can be done after the fact. Shouldn't be done after.
No, because whenever you tear out the ceiling, you need to be able to get some of this wiring in. And they're of the understanding that that's gonna have to be done.
I'll make a motion to take a low bidder.
Second.
All in favor?
Any further questions on that from anyone? Everybody good? Next on your agenda, you have the approval of some polls. You've got the one from 11/25/2014, the health board member appointment. I lost my spot here. There were two polls done there in regards to the health board. It was the appointment of Dirk Cody to the Graham County Health Board, and the Raymond Williams coming out.
The first one was also before the new commissioners come on.
Correct.
Yes.
So we're probably going to take these separate. I have a motion for the first one.
So moved.
All in favor? Now, the next one is,
It was May 20. It was May 25, I believe. So we have to do that
the first
again.
one was 11/25.
Okay.
So that next one was on 12/1.
Yes.
Personnel policy.
That's right. The health insurance benefits, the Amanda County policy in regards to incoming elected officials and the 60-day waiting period for insurance whenever they're sworn in.
So in other words, that takes effect on the day that they're sworn.
They're sworn in and become eligible.
Yeah.
And an elected official, the day they're sworn in, becomes eligible for health insurance benefits.
And it ends whenever their office is over,
Right,
their.
10 years over.
Yes. If that individual takes and hypothetically decides that he or she does not want the insurance or the open enrollment period or a change of venue, that they can take and apply for the state for health insurance.
Say that again, if they choose they don't want our health insurance?
At the beginning, but later on, decide that they do.
Then would they go on it?
We have open enrollment in July when ours comes up. So, I mean, if he goes on in November, am I correct, Miss Insurance Agent?
What?
Our open enrollment is July.
It
Is July, that would be the only time that they could change their mind,
Unless you have qualifying events.
unless they have a qualifying event.
Marriage, divorce.
Married, divorced.
Death,
Yeah.
birth, something like that.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
they'll sign a waiver if they choose not to take our insurance, they have to sign a waiver not to take our insurance.
There's nothing in this amendment about it terminating as soon as they come out of that office. This is just for,
But that's really, I mean, that's
At the
just
time.
given, when they leave office, they leave insurance.
It needs to be
I would
clearly
say-
stated in the amendment to the tenure is expired.
Okay, I will amend that. That will be another amend, I'll just have to amend that. Okay. That will be another amendment though, not, you see what I'm saying? I'll have to amend this to state that.
Okay, now, will these,
So do we need to wait for the next meeting to just take care of
I'm
all
Just,
together?
just redo it, but you get it right first.
will they be eligible for COVID?
We already did that poll.
Yeah, they'd have to offer Cobra, but
Will they be eligible for COVID?
Yes, they have to be
Yeah.
on cover at their own expense
Oh, okay.
when they consolidate.
Okay.
we'll just wait and do it all at one time.
Okay, just don't approve.
We're not gonna do nothing with it.
We're not gonna vote on it right now.
We'll get it, this other fix in it.
Well, actually, this is already, he's already in he's already in the insurance. So the code needs to be approved.
Yeah. Okay, I see what you're saying.
And then I'll amend, you'll approve the amendment to the county policy.
I see what you're saying.
See what I'm saying?
Still need to
I'm sorry.
approve it.
Yeah, anytime you do a poll, that is a motion by the board.
Donna, is there any way that, even though we've done the poll, to forego this document until all the wording is in it and just have the one amendment then?
What is the word you're talking about to make it compliant with the,
Put it in the personnel policy. Elected officials are eligible for health insurance and benefits on day one, and those benefits end at the maturity of the tenure of that, when they're out of office, same day.
It doesn't affect the action, it just to change this, it doesn't affect the action. Okay. See, they approved the amendment, but it doesn't affect the action of this. See, they did a poll, this was the action. So it doesn't matter.
That says that it was petitioned until such time as they don't come to the office. That would apply, if they would
If we can vote on that tonight, and then you can go ahead and correct it.
Okay, that's
Okay.
fine.
So I make a motion then that we put the other verbiage into the amendment that the benefits end at the maturity of the tenure, at the day they leave office.
Second.
All in favor?
Next, you had the poll that was done in order to update the contract that we have with Verizon Wireless for the county cell phones. Was approved. Total contract, $33,647.87. There's a total of 50 lines allowed in that contract.
No motion to follow.
I'll make a motion. Let's prove it.
Your second. All in favor?
All right. Next, I need to, we need action for a commissioner appointment to the Graham County Health Board. Nominate and appoint. Need a motion and a second for the reappointment of Gene Perkins to the Joint CAC Advisory Committee for Region A.
Okay, motion.
Second.
Let the board know that there is a ethics class that will be held in Asheville for the essentials of county government, February 11th and 12th. This is a strongly recommend, and I believe it's a required class for elected officials in North Carolina. If you've not had it before, February 11th and 12th, we need to get you registered for this class.
Do you want to go in?
Thank you.
Very much.
Yeah.
We appreciate 100% on this board, okay?
Keith, are you going? There's a veterans, do you want to go at all?
I don't think I'll
I'm not going to veterans either, I'm going all the time, I'm going.
Okay.
It's
So
considered a
just
job.
Ricky and Jacob?
Really?
Yes. There's ethics training and there's also a finance administration.
The fiduciary.
Yes, yes, okay. So it's
When is it?
February 11th and 12th.
Oh, it's at the same time.
Yeah. You drive back and forth or stay.
Okay, let me tell you this, it costs the county exactly the same for you to drive back and forth as it does for you to stay there. Okay.
It's Asheville,
It's a
Yeah.
wash, yeah, but
80 days.
It's 2. And it's from 8 to 5, and it is from 8 to 5
it is.
in class.
Set it all.
Is that the
And
day
it's a
after?
meet and greet. I'm just gonna go ahead and tell you, you will meet lots of people.
Is that the 13th and 14th?
It's 11th and 12th.
What's the 13th and 14th, Greg?
I don't know, I was doing the back-to-back, I was trying to see, I guess there's the ethics class is on the 11th, and is the other on the 12th, or how?
Oh,
is
just a
it?
minute, wait.
I thought it was a one-day
It's-
event for the ethics and the financial was one day.
It's 11th and 12th. I don't know, leadership for veteran elected officials, but the finance, I believe, is on the 12th.
Okay,
How to disagree. It's governing board roles and responsibilities, financing, county government, state mandated ethics trainings, February 11th and 12th.
Day one is ethics, and then.
Whereas the second one is finance.
okay, that works.
It's interesting.
It is. If it's the first time you've ever heard it, it's extremely interesting.
Yeah, they get your attention.
Yes, they do.
Decide, let me know if you want to stay. We still have a little bit of time.
Jacob will drive with us.
All right.
When's your baby due, Jack?
Okay, I'll go for the last. I think Keith goes back to too.
Well, make sure you got a county card up. We'll burn back.
Who won the locations?
She said it's a double tree, isn't there, this time?
We'll have all the information ready for you by then, so you'll make sure you know
He
where you
didn't tell me this time on this one. I'll just have to go on and where it was going to be.
A lot of this is the preliminary information that kind of, they send out to kind of get an idea how many people will be coming. There'll be a lot more information coming down the line just in the next coming days.
That's better than my first.
Next, to make the board aware and public announce, Graham County offices will be closed for the Christmas holiday, Wednesday, December 24th, Thursday, the 25th, and Friday, December 26th. The essential offices will remain open, and offices will be closed for the New Year's Day on Thursday, January 1st, 2015, but essential offices will remain open. Next, there's a request for permit fee change for unnecessary trip at building inspections office. And Kim, I've not been made aware of any of this, so you may have to speak to this.
Okay, what is happening is we're having some not our local, and Jacob can help me out here too, not our local builders, but some out-of-town builders are calling for some unnecessary trips for our building inspector to go out.
It's really broad, it's
Yeah.
for any unnecessary trip, basically.
And the trips are going out, they're unnecessary
As
trips.
stated by the building inspector.
Yeah, and he needs a fee for that to go out to stop some unnecessary trips.
So $60?
For each additional unnecessary trip, and that would just stop some of these.
What's an example of that, Jay?
It would be like somebody calling for a footer inspection, and, they schedule it going out, and they're not even started digging the footer or something like that. Not that they've dug the footer, and they've got a violation, they've done something on themselves, but they've just blatantly not even fulfilled their end. Something unnecessary.
Okay.
That he requested that. It's happened several times in the last little while.
Do we need a list of what would be unnecessary calls, Jay?
I think it'd be something good about it.
Yeah, just a broad slate,
And should there be like a one? I mean, I don't know, you know, because, I mean, what may be unnecessary to one person may be,
I think the intent was, just blatant.
to apply that.
You know David makes plenty of trips without,
Sure, I mean, he goes out of his way to help us, absolutely.
we might have to just talk to David about it. Let him.
That's a good idea. Let him bring him in and see what he wants covered, or what needs to be covered under that, and then we need to put it in the paper so that everybody knows what's coming down the pipe. Good idea, Greg.
I don't want somebody getting charged $60 for miscommunications.
Well, we're just gonna let David
I think,
ask
yeah,
some questions.
that would help, because I haven't talked to David at all about this, I'd like to.
I think
You may have a situation where the landowner may want him to come and do inspection, but then the contractor does not require it, but then the contractor's going to be billed for it.
Yeah,
Right,
miscommunications, easily,
maybe.
especially when one's in a hurry for their house and the other's working as hard as can.
Yeah.
I don't think
I
Johnny will like
think
it
so.
charged. It's kind of
I think if we're
specified.
gonna do this way, it needs to be,
Specific.
like maybe start out with a warning and then maybe $20 and then go up to something like that or something, not just, cause he says I shouldn't have had to come and charge $60 on it.
$20 won't cover his trip.
If that gets their attention.
Maybe have him here and kind
I
of
think
just
we had to hear from David first.
Okay.
before we do anything.
That's
We
good.
need a motion to table this or whatever.
table it and have him here next
See
time.
what he suggests
If
we
they know
cover.
they're having to pay or whatever.
He can answer questions.
Yeah.
One time and then whatever, but they were bored.
Yeah.
They take care of it.
Agreed. Next, need approval for Larry Henry, Brian Stevens, and Brian Johnson to travel to Raleigh for a emergency preparedness grant meeting. EMPG.
This is the meeting they get their 2,500. Not all of those three will go. There may only be one of those go, but they get that $2,500.
For being there.
Money,
Okay.
yeah, for being there.
I make a motion to approve their trip.
All in favor?
I only have two things for new items, just for me personally. One is January 16th, I got an email today from the North Carolina Association of County Commissioners. If the Board of Commissioners would like to consider any legislative goals at the federal level, let me know so that we can get those ideas submitted. I just got this information today, so we we will have a meeting on the 15th of January. So we, is
19th.
it the 19th?
The commission meeting is 19th, isn't it? Kim, I thought I heard you say that.
Yeah, I believe it
It's
is.
19th, Jen, right there, she said, I have
What-
selective hearing.
I can't remember what the, I thought it was the 15th. But, anyway, think about some federal bills that, you know, we can discuss to send up. We'll get that information to them. Obviously, things that stay at the top of our list every year, payment in lieu of taxes, built, secure rural schools, anything we deal with the federal government quite a bit here. So, that's, always important to us. The other thing is, I have a handout for, is board commissioners, with the information as it pertains to Graham County, from the Department of Transportation, and the, draft, STIP, the, Strategic Transportation Improvement Plan for North Carolina, projects in Graham County and Division 14 that, got prioritized. Of course, Corridor K-89 is in here as a project that is showing being funded for 2024. The only other major project listed for Graham County was the secondary access coming out of Robbinsville High School. And I believe that was scheduled for around 2019. So I have this full document in my office. It shows a lot of other, but most of this is just some basic information for specific projects.
Here.
No. Oh, okay. I'm sorry. One other thing, we also have an amendment to the resolution to establish the Travel and Tourism Authority for Graham County, North Carolina. This is amendment number 2. Under section 2, composition and vacancies. The first paragraph would read, the Graham County Travel and Tourism Authority, hereinafter referred to as the authority, shall consist of 7 regular members. All board members are to be appointed by the Graham County Board of Commissioners and shall consist of 1 Graham County Commissioners, with the remaining positions to be available to the residents of Graham County who own, operate, or have an interest in a business or entity in Graham County. This amendment is passed by motion Commissioner and second by Commissioner, adopting unanimous vote by Graham County Commissioners this 15th day of December 2014 at the regular meeting.
That amendment is to bring the resolution in line, in compliance with the rules and procedures of the Travel and Tourism Authority. So, should be done.
I have a motion to accept this. Or is there anybody, any discussion on it? Anybody more about it?
Make a motion to nominate Tom.
The motion, second. All in favor?
That's all I have. Unless you all have any questions on me.
Can I mention something that's okay with the board? I think the board, as a county, needs to come up with something to congratulate our school for bringing the state championship.
I agree.
To the western part of the state.
Absolutely.
I think that we need to do something for some full recognition or something.
I did put you in an article in the paper, and it's put in the paper. Yeah, James did send that to us, so I put like a,
Congratulations.
you know, in,
I have
not
read-
this week.
Okay.
He was very
What-
excited to watch. We've got the stream onto my laptop and hooked to the TV and watched on television. It was good.
It was.
Very good. Yeah.
Nail biter at the end, wasn't it?
Yes, it was. Yeah.
Okay, but they looked good. They did. So, did you have something in mind that maybe we could?
You thinking like a billboard, or do you want to do an event? Anything, anything in specific?
We want to do a billboard, that's a little bit extreme.
Let's see, what does Allison charge?
It's not been very expensive recently whenever we did
No.
one graduation. But
So-
I can't remember exactly what it was. Do you remember that?
There's one near the school down there.
Yeah, it wasn't.
I don't think it's all that much. And we could put that congratulations on the, yeah, we definitely get them a plaque too. We've got the plaque queen sitting right over here.
Let us come up with some ideas or something, you know, we never know. We're all time buying t-shirts, hats,
A year, so, I mean.
That's a great idea, Lynn.
That's-
And
and stuff like that.
We had a suggestion about some kind of open house or something, while we was open house today.
Yeah.
For,
okay.
Kids like to eat.
They do, Bill.
I was thinking a big boy.
Well, that's what I said,
Pile of
prime
meat,
rib.
probably a big pile of meat, so you
Oh, protein bowl.
Yeah, protein.
Right. Anything else for me? Any other questions?
Anyway, let's talk about that, and we don't want to wait another month to get it done, so, because it's fresh now, and now's the time to congratulate.
Talk about it, you know, billboard, like I said, last time we did it for graduation, it wasn't that expensive. But I mean, you want to do something a little bit more personal, like I said, deep, hat shirts,
Bit of a bill.
You know.
Give it in here.
you name it.
Get a cake.
Hey,
The billboards.
getting them all together for a bill is probably the toughest thing.
I don't know.
You know, with
They're
sports,
always-
you know, most of them are rolling straight into wrestling, basketball, and other things like that.
That's right.
Yeah.
Well, we would be in violation of the new nutrition standards that they have.
Who knows? Hey, we'll brainstorm, we'll come up with something, but you're exactly right, it's well deserved.
Definitely a plaque. Definitely a plaque. It's a nice plaque. Congratulations.
we have anything else?
We're gonna have that in our continuing.
We need to go in. We got to go.
That's, it'd be great.
You know that we can through that.
So it's maybe just put two there. You know. We've done that before. Okay.
Hey, we used to go to 11 o'clock. We could do last night.
So we need, I need a motion to go and vote
Okay, I make a motion that we go into closed
with
session.
a 10-minute recess.
Human review.
You'd like to.
Okay, GS 143-3, 18-118-136, privilege or confidential information, attorney-client privilege, personnel and contracts only. 10, the boss says 10-minute recess.
Tommy, got a motion? All in favor?